For us, if we want to end homelessness, it's not just about getting the resources. Sometimes you have to figure out how the resources are going to come.
This legislation is very complicated.
It brought together state elected officials, city elected officials, people who were serving in various roles. The funds for the Housing Trust Fund can be used really in a couple of different ways. They can be used to create development projects that will have set-asides for helping homelessness. They can be housing subsidies. It can be transitional housing for people who need it, maybe having substance abuse problems.
Whenever you record a document in Marion County, a certain amount of money would go to the Housing Trust Fund.
They wanted predictable fees. At the time, we had every document that was recorded, we had to count the pages.
A standard fee legislation was introduced, but anytime you do something like that that applies to all 92 counties, there are maybe unintended consequences. And one of those unintended consequences was a potentially negative impact or elimination of that supplemental fee that we were able to use for funding the Housing Trust Fund.
We knew that there was an opportunity to help streamline the process, but also to empower the city and the Indianapolis Housing Trust Fund Advisory Committee.
We had to make a change, and there was lots of conversation about what to do with that. It's Senate Bill 505, and I actually authored the bill.
The members of the legislature, led by Senator Bray, understood it and wanted to do something about it and worked with all the stakeholders to get it done.
And you know, there were so many moving parts. The negotiation was some of the more complicated negotiations I've been involved in the legislature so far.
I indicated I would support the legislation only if the housing trust money was left in or increased.
We were able to make sure we preserved that supplemental recording fee, that source of funding, in state legislation.
I think for a lot of people, they think that anyone involved in politics or government, everything is slow as molasses and people of opposing parties don't get along.
CHIP was a huge resource in also having its own boots on the ground in the State House, and really the almost minute-by-minute pulse of where this bill stood.
If anywhere along the path that hadn't happened, it all would have fallen apart.
The city of Indianapolis will have probably about another additional $500,000 from the recorder's fees that they can use to create and preserve affordable housing here in Marion County. And so that's the bottom line.
The impact for Indianapolis is more real dollars into the system.
This is looking to the future. This legislation will help create a better Indianapolis tomorrow. It will help create a better state of Indiana tomorrow because it brings in help and assistance to people who need it the most.
This legislation will make fewer people have to choose whether to give their kids vegetables or whether to pay the heating bill. It will help people have a stronger family. It's a big deal.